A lot of thoughts about what Jayden Daniels did in his first start with 16 rushes for 88 yards, and then what Dan Quinn said afterwards. Dan Quinn comes out and says, not all of those are design quarterback runs. We would love to see him remain a passer first. That's going to come with more experience. He's going to say, hey, this play is over. I need to get rid of it and move on to the next play. So we're going to continue with that trajectory. 16 carries is not the model we're looking for, certainly with Brian Robinson and Austin Ekeler and others here. But at the end of the day, I think that he's going to grow into that. So let's dissect first what he's saying. This is my interpretation of it, obviously. He's saying that designed runs is what they'd be using Jayden Daniels for. They don't really want him scrambling that much. They want him to try to read it out, hang it in the pocket, throw the ball or get rid of the ball if it's not there, stop running around. And lastly, when they want to run the football, they'll use Brian Robinson and Austin Ekeler if it's not a designed run. So let's talk about some of my thoughts. First, we're going to walk through the film in a second, but I do want to go through the stats and then we'll get into some of the film. On his 16 runs for 88 yards, 7 were scrambles. Of the 88 yards he had in total, how many do you think came from scrambles? Just think. Of the 88. 77 on 7 scrambles. 7 scrambles for 77 yards. The other runs were designed runs. He had 1 kneel down and a backwards pass, so let's get rid of those. Let's compare these two. On his 7 designed runs, he gained 13 yards, 1.9 yards per carry, 43% success, 0.08 EPA per play. On his 7 scrambles, 77 yards, 11 yards per carry, 86% success, 1.15 EPA per play. Not even close. Design runs were nowhere close to being as effective as scrambles. And you'll see this when we roll the tape in a minute. But since Quinn said that the team has their running backs and they can use the running backs if they're going to run the ball, let's look at what their running backs did for a second. 14 running back runs, 50 yards, 3.6 yards per carry, 29% success, minus 0.08 EPA per play. These are 20th or bottom 10 in the league, all of those marks. Their longest running back run was 7 yards. They had no explosive running back runs. 22% of their running back runs were stuffed for no gain. So the Jayden Daniels designed runs were more efficient than the running back runs. But more efficient than both of those were the scrambles, and it was not even close. I got one other thing to mention. I'll do that at the end. Let's look at this tape. All right, let's break this down. Less than 5 minutes into the game, drops back to pass, 3rd and 21. Yeah, he could have thrown the ball right here, potentially, but he does have a defender who's already beaten his right tackle and is in his face, flushing him out of the pocket. Look at what happens. I mean, that guy is right there. So he could have stepped up and gotten killed. Maybe the converts a first down, most likely not. Preserve himself, move on. It was like the first few plays of the game. Okay, 2nd and 8. Right tackle is beat right there. First step, the right tackle is beat. Jayden Daniels is dropping back. Where's he going to throw the ball here? 2nd and 8. He decides to run with it. Gets the first down, avoids 3rd down, moves the chains. I don't have a big issue with this one. 3rd and 4. Let's see what happens. Drops back. Has a tiny bit of a pocket, but is starting to get flushed. Maybe he could have hung in the pocket, but where's the open guy? He decides to run it because he sees the first down marker. On a 3rd and 4, you need to get that first down. He knows he could get it. Tight ropes down the sideline. Massive gain into scoring position. I don't see an issue with that either. Field goal kicker missed the field goal. 2nd and 8. I mean, the left tackle's doing nothing. This guy just ran right through him if you rewind it. Left tackle did nothing. He's got pressure right in his face. Has to scramble. Huge gain. Avoids 3rd down once again. Moves the sticks. Massive chunk gain here for Jayden Daniels. This is a good play. That's called making a play. That's why you drafted this guy. Okay, watch the left side of his offensive line here and how they get pushed back and how many times Jayden has to reset. Just getting massively abused. Now he's at the back of his arm. Now he resets one more time. Now he does have this guy down here on an inbreaker. He also has, I don't know if that's McLaurin or who that is at the top, into this void that he could step up and throw 35 yards on a rope potentially. he decides to run the football, avoid a sack and gets out of there, avoid the negative play and run the football, picks up the first down. Now, would I have loved for him to slide? Yes, but he's avoided a sack that would have probably made his team punt the ball. I don't have a big issue there. Okay, this is a kneel down end of the first half. This next play, though, after this kneel down, this is the one. If you're saying when should have he stood in there and chucked the ball, absolutely right here. Terry McLaurin goes in motion. I want you to watch first the pocket that Jayden Daniels has to throw the ball, and second what McLaurin does. Stacks this defender within 10 yards, running right into this open area of the field. Jayden Daniels has a clear pocket, but he doesn't throw it. He holds on to it. He picks up the first down on 2nd and 5, but that's a touchdown out of the half. That was a touchdown. I'm sure that's one of the things Dan Quinn's talking about. They would have been down 16-14, right back in the game. Okay, 4th and 1. All right, this is a he fakes the handoff and boots up to the top, picks up a first down on this designed run. And after this, I am not sure. I think all they were doing in the second half is calling a bunch of designed runs because their run game had no success. Their running backs couldn't run the ball. So I don't know what Dan Quinn's talking about. We have running backs to do that. Yeah, well, your running backs weren't doing anything in this game. And these designed runs, when they were down by the goal line, they were working. When they were other areas of the field, they weren't working. So the design stuff wasn't great, and the running back runs weren't great. Down at the goal line, the design stuff was great. Here's a touchdown, I believe. But here's the thing that irks me the most about a coach like Dan Quinn saying that they don't want their quarterback to run. They want him to stand in there, throw the ball away, all this other type of stuff. Here's the thing. It makes no sense. Dan Quinn is a defensive coach. He has to game plan to stop offenses. Think about if he goes up against Josh Allen or goes up against Lamar Jackson. What is one of the biggest things he's drilling into his players all week? It's how dangerous those quarterbacks are with their legs. And about how the play is never over even if it breaks down. Dan Quinn knows how valuable a quarterback like this is because it scares the shit out of him when he goes up against one of them. And as a defensive coach, what do you think he wished those other quarterbacks did? He wished they didn't run. He wished if he was facing them that their head coaches, John Harbaugh, tells Lamar Jackson, we don't want you scrambling this game. Don't run. Just throw the ball. And if the throw is not there, just throw it away. Live to play another down. He would love for Sean McDermott to tell Josh Allen not to run the football. That would make his job of defending them a hell of a lot easier. He'd have a much higher percentage chance of winning that game if those quarterbacks didn't run the football. So it makes no sense that he's trying to coach that out of his young quarterback after just one game. Yes, the Terry McLaurin throw should have been made, 100%. But suggesting that we don't want this quarterback to run the football unless it's a designed run and that we want him handing the football off if we're going to try to gain yards on the ground makes no sense to me. I don't think it's going to be beneficial for the Commanders' offense if Jayden Daniels isn't as mobile as he is. What they need to do is teach him how to get down and avoid hits, but he needs to run.